Prosecution rests in the trial of Officer Edward Nero. Nero is one of 6 officers facing charges in connection with the death of Freddie Gray. The prosecution wrapped up its case just hours after fellow officer Garrett Miller takes the stand as a witness. And WJZ is live at Courthouse East. WJZ investigator Mike Hellgren with Miller's testimony and the impact on the case. Mike?
Mary, this is unprecedented because Miller still faces criminal charges in the same case, and prosecutors warned him he could be prosecuted for perjury or obstruction of justice if he didn't tell the truth. He was calm on the stand. One co-defendant we did not hear from, Officer William Porter. Prosecutors rested their case against Officer Edward Nero after 3 days and more than a dozen witnesses, laying out their theory that Officer Nero assaulted Gray by assisting with his arrest and that his failure to secure him in the police van with a seatbelt was reckless endangerment.
The prosecution saying that had the officers restrained Freddie Gray with seatbelts, that the injury would not have occurred.
The trial made history with the testimony of Officer Garrett Miller. It's the first time a co-defendant in a criminal case had to testify for the prosecution.
It was Officer Miller who testified unequivocally that Officer Nero never handcuffed Freddie Gray, nor did Officer Nero do anything to touch Freddie Gray during the detention stage.
Miller, Nero, and Lieutenant Brian Rice were on bicycle patrol the day Gray was arrested. Rice made the initial call for help when Gray ran, and Miller says he never questioned the arrest, which prosecutors say was illegal and an assault. Miller also testified the responsibility for securing Gray in the van fell to the driver and not Officer Nero.
Freddie's dead, and it was not a good arrest. Wasn't a good stop. It wasn't a reason to chase him.
After the prosecution rested, the defense motioned for acquittal. But the judge ruled at this point there is enough evidence to continue. He's expected to make a verdict this week. And we expect that could come as early as Wednesday. The defense began today with a police expert, former Charlottesville, Virginia Police Chief Timothy Longo. He also testified for Officer William Porter. Reporting live at Courthouse East, Mike Hellgren, WJZ Eyewitness News.
Mike, thank you. And here's what you need to know in the trial of Officer Edward Nero. Just a short time ago, the prosecution rests in the case as one of their final witnesses. They called Officer Garrett Miller, who testified about what happened when he and Nero arrested Freddie Gray. The defense requested an acquittal, but the judge denied it. Then the defense called their first witness to the stand. And stay with WJZ for complete coverage of the Edward Nero trial. Coming up at 5:30, we are digging deeper into the historical implications of Officer Garrett Miller's testimony.